October 11th, 2024, Pluto stationed direct in Capricorn for the very last time in our lifetimes. Pluto will be in Capricorn for 5.5 weeks as of the date that this video is premiering, October 13th, and it will make 2 more challenging transits before it leaves Capricorn for good. So I wanted to provide support for you for these last 2 transits. One is during the Aries full moon. The second one is early November. And I also wanted to give you a preview of the 2025 astrology, because in 2025, we are going to have 5 outer planets changing signs. And this is very rare and remarkable, and definitely something to talk about. And I believe something to look forward to as well. So in this video, I'm going to give you an Aries full moon update. I'm going to talk about how we can best navigate through these last 2 intense Pluto activations, and I'm calling them activations rather than hits, because it's always my goal to use astrology for our empowerment. And I want to share with you why I believe that 2025 has the potential to be a year of powerful, positive shifts for all of us. I hope that you will watch the first part of this video, because this is where I'm going to go into how you can best work with these challenging Pluto transits, the very last 2, and also I'm not going to talk about the 2025 astrology in your 12-sign readings. In your 12-sign readings, I am going to talk about where Mars is going to be opposing Pluto in your chart and where you are wrapping up this epic transit of Pluto in Capricorn. And of course, as always, I'll be pulling an oracle card for each of the 12 signs as well. So before I go deeper, I want to say hello and welcome. If you've just found the channel, you have found your tribe. This is a like-minded community. Be sure and subscribe so you don't miss a video. It's also a beautiful way to give back to the channel. And thank you to all of you who've been watching my videos who have subscribed. I so appreciate you. It means the world to me and really makes a difference in the growth of the channel. I'm Betsy. I'm a psychic astrologer as well as an intuitive life coach and the author of the book, The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling, which is all about following the call of your soul and deepening your connection with your divine guidance. I do astrology consultations. I will tell you a little bit more about my astrology readings and my coaching at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. And I also have a free gift for you. I'll tell you all about your free gift at the end of the video. If you'd like to receive my weekly inspirational astrology updates, which is the astrology between my videos, you can go to my website, subscribe for free, and you will get a free gift from me as an instant download right away. So we have 2 more last pass Pluto and Capricorn gnarly transits before Pluto leaves Capricorn for good. The first one is happening during the Aries full moon. And I do have a separate video for you on the Aries full moon. So if you haven't watched that yet, I will link to it in the description box below. And if you've already watched that video, you know that the Aries full moon is one of the most challenging of the year of 2024. Why? Because there is something called a Cardinal Grand Cross. It is a square that is creating a lot of tension, and not just tension, but a feeling of, for many of you, perhaps you're already feeling this, or you could be feeling this next week when we get to that full moon, which is on October 17th, a feeling of being trapped, a feeling of being hemmed in, a feeling of, I don't know what my options are, or I don't feel like I have any options, or there are no options that are palatable to me. Or some of you could find yourself in a crisis. I'm sorry to say that. And my heart goes out to any of you that are going through something really difficult right now. Now, most of us have experienced, to some degree, Pluto and Capricorn transits. And during this full moon, we're going to have a T-square to the full moon between Mars in Cancer and Pluto in Capricorn. And that means Mars in Cancer is opposing Pluto in Capricorn. And that doesn't feel good. I'm going to give you an example from my own life. Know that Mars in Cancer is about emotional security. It's about our home and our family, where we have created a sanctuary within our homes, or the feelings that we want to feel with loved ones, or our own sense of safety and security within ourselves or within our home. And for me, this has already played out and it's continuing to play out because it has not yet been resolved. But I'm going to share this with you because I think a lot of you may be going through something that's really hard, and it always helps to share our stories, I feel. So Pluto delivers shocks. And a week ago, when I got home from a lovely weekend away, last weekend, I got home from spending time with a friend. It was really lovely. It felt amazing. And I got to my front door, and my whole front door, the casing of the front door was completely layered with these black flying bugs. I mean, they're beetles actually, but there were hundreds of them, and they were all over my windows, and they were flying around, and one landed in my hair, and I'm not exaggerating this. It was really creepy. It was so creepy. And of course, I didn't expect to come home to that. Now, I've done a lot of research on this. I've already tried my own insecticidal, so to speak, like non-toxic spray that didn't work at all, blah, blah, blah. I will fix the situation. I certainly hope I will be able to fix the situation, but I'm sharing this with you because as soon as I got in the home and I told my landlord who lives across the way about it, and he was like very apologetic. I'm really sorry. I don't really know what we can do about this, on and on. And the first feeling I felt was, oh my gosh, I'm like trapped in my house. I don't want to go out there. I don't want those things flying in my face. I don't want them landing in my hair. And I certainly don't want them coming in my apartment. So you get the idea. The beautiful thing about Aries energy, which is where the full moon is, Aries energy calls us to advocate for ourselves. It helps us to step up. It helps us to seek other solutions, to even make bold moves if we have to on our own behalf. This is a self-advocacy full moon. And whenever Pluto is involved, it shows us a truth. It reveals something to us that we didn't see before. And it forces us into taking back our power. And often this means setting a boundary with another person or even with ourselves, going further to take care of ourselves or our loved ones than maybe we would have gone before the situation. But I hope that you will feel encouraged and supported by the fact that we have two supportive aspects during this full moon. Jupiter in Gemini is going to harmonize with the full moon, and that means divine protection. That means you can go to your spiritual source, you can pray, you can meditate, you can connect with the unconditional love of the divine, raise your consciousness to get answers and other solutions. Additionally, Venus in Scorpio is going to make a sextile to Pluto, and I believe that this is going to give us the courage to go into our emotions, especially the darkest fears that we have, and process them so that we can shed another layer of conditioning that is potentially making us feel helpless or powerless in any situation that may come up for you, my friend, during this full moon. If you find yourself in a crisis, and I truly hope that you're not in that situation, but if you are, just a reminder here to always meet your immediate needs first. Your immediate needs for shelter, your immediate needs for food, for sleep, all of those things that we need to just be able to function and think and receive the awareness that we're meant to receive, the guidance we're meant to receive in the moment. And if you've been watching my channel, you know that I do not focus on mundane astrology because I'm all about personal empowerment. I'm all about helping you to navigate astrology transits through Western tropical astrology, which I forgot to say at the beginning. But that said, I know that we have just had some really difficult weather patterns, Hurricane Helene and Milton, and my heart goes out to everybody that has been affected by those, not to mention the ramping up of war in the Middle East. And I know there are wars going on in multiple places in this world right now, and countless other tragedies. So I really want to acknowledge that many people are feeling this energy intensely in very dramatic, painful ways. The purpose of a full moon like this, we want to see this from the bigger picture. We want to zoom out for a moment and see that this is the end of an era, that this is the last time that Pluto will be in Capricorn. And there's always a bloom of the energy when Pluto is changing signs. There's always a bloom of that energy before it moves into the next sign. The purpose of a Pluto transit, from my own experience and my experience working with clients in readings and coaching, is to show us where our power is, to help us accept and release the things that are no longer relevant for us. And when I say things, I mean situations, jobs, you name it, like anything in life that does not hold power for us anymore. Letting it go, releasing it, changes the essence of life, changes the only thing that is permanent in this earthly life. And that is really hard for our human selves. We don't like change. We find change difficult, even though a lot of times we want to have exciting things happen. Moving through change, even if it's something beautiful and new and exciting, like falling in love, it's still stressful for our human selves. I do believe that when Mars trines Neptune, exactly October 27th, and I think we're going to feel that all during the last week of October, the few days before the 27th and potentially a couple of days afterwards, I do believe that's going to bring relief to many of us and to the victims of the two devastating hurricanes. And I don't mean to just focus on the United States. There are many other things that are going on in the world that are quite traumatic for a lot of people. So whatever is going on for you in your own life, I believe that's going to bring some relief. Now, the last activation of Pluto and Capricorn that could be quite challenging happens November 1st to the 3rd, and that is Mars is going to exactly oppose Pluto. Mars in Cancer will exactly oppose Pluto at 29 degrees. This is what I'm going to focus your 12 sign readings on. But in a nutshell, Mars cuts ties. Mars is going to help us to let go, release anything that is not serving us right now. And Mars in Cancer is a fierce advocate. It is a fierce advocate of the things that bring us emotional security. So anything that is important in our relationships with our loved ones, our children, our grandchildren, our own inner child. Mars in Cancer might say something like, not on my watch. That's how fierce the energy is. It's going to help us if there's anything toxic in our lives, if we have any habits that we're still doing, if we are putting up with a situation that isn't good for us. This Mars in Cancer opposition to Pluto and Capricorn, which is going on during the Aries full moon, but it's going to be exact November 1st to the 3rd. This is when we will get support for cutting any ties that we need to cut permanently. If you have planets or points between 23 and 29 degrees of Capricorn or the other cardinal signs of Cancer, Aries, or Libra, you will feel this Mars opposition Pluto most intensely, most personally. It is very difficult, I know, to see the light at the end of the tunnel when you are in the middle of what we call a Pluto crisis. When you are going through something in which you feel helpless or powerless, it is almost impossible to see a way out. And this is why I'm doing this video for you, because I'll tell you from my own, I've had 10, 11, I'm losing track, but at least 10 hard Pluto transits in my lifetime. And during Pluto and Capricorn, I've had 5 hard Pluto transits. And when Pluto opposed my Cancer moon, which I go into in depth in my hard Pluto transits video, I'll link that video in the description box below. But when that happened in 2018 to 2020, I had a series of things happen. Pretty much every area of my life was extremely stressed, starting with skin cancer, melanoma, the deadliest form of skin cancer, being diagnosed right under my eye, having complications with that surgery. And just before that, I was in a very toxic work situation, which I thought would be a temporary timeout from my spiritual coaching business. And I had wonderful colleagues during that situation, but I had a very toxic, let's say, supervisory situation involving power plays that I realized I had to get out of. There was chaos in my apartment. I shared a common wall with somebody who completely ignored all of the boundaries that I tried to set. And this is Pluto and Capricorn. We often set boundaries and they are ignored. Pluto and Capricorn shows us what we have to accept. It's the serenity prayer, what we have to accept, what we have to acknowledge that we can't change a lot of the times, and the wisdom to know how to change the things that we can change. I had a sibling betrayal. I went through probably 2 years of power struggles with my siblings, having to do with my mom's care, which was very difficult. And then in 2020, when the world went crazy and we went through the lockdowns, that's when my mom passed away. and all my friends scattered to the winds. Everyone stopped hugging. And my heart really goes out to you, my friend, if you were single during that time, if you didn't have friends who would touch you or hug you. My heart really goes out to you because very few people understood how challenging that time was for people who lived alone and were single and didn't have friends who were willing to even give them a hug. Not to mention that our whole town, like so many towns, shut down. They closed the beaches in Laguna Beach where I lived. I mean, it was a hard Pluto transit. But here's the thing, and the reason that I share all this with you is that all of that happening to me pretty much at the same time took me to my knees. It took me to my knees. I cried a zillion tears. I can't even tell you how many tears that I cried. And what did that do for me? It made me so resolute with what I was unwilling to ever experience again in my life and what I knew I needed in my life to be happy. And most important, before that time, I had practiced astrology with my spiritual coaching clients, but I had not yet offered my astrology consultations to other clients. And had I not gone through such a grueling Pluto transit, I would not have started my YouTube channel. I would not have begun offering astrology consultations through my YouTube channel. But I knew, based on what I went through with that Pluto transit, there wasn't enough being talked about at the time. Astrologers weren't sharing their own stories of their own Pluto transits that I could find. And I knew that I was being called to do so. So this is the beauty of a hard Pluto transit. If you are not at the place, my friend, where you feel like I've come through it, because Pluto always includes a death and a rebirth. If you are not in the rebirth process yet, and you are wondering if you are ever going to see the light at the end of the tunnel, this is why I share this with you. Because Pluto transits give us the courage to bring our passion out into the world. They show us what our birthright is. They help show us what we are meant to give back based on our own pain, based on our own transformation. There's a reason that we go through hard things. We can then help other people, whether we are quote unquote healers or quote unquote light workers. It doesn't matter. In any line of work, we can help somebody else come through what we have been through that brought us to our knees. So let's talk for a moment about the rare astrology of 2025 in which we have 5 outer planets changing signs. We all know that Pluto is going to move into Aquarius, and Pluto in Aquarius is a very different energy from Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto in Capricorn has been about the hierarchies. It's been about climbing to the top of the ladder. It's like, do the right things, and then eventually you will be rewarded. Eventually you will get to the top and you will meet your goal. Pluto in Aquarius is about, it's egalitarian values, it's humanitarian values. It is everybody has an equal voice and everybody gets to have a say in how communities are led. And yes, that is the highest octave of Pluto in Aquarius. There's a lower octave to all of this energy. But for purposes of this video, the goal of Pluto in Aquarius is to move us into that energy. Also, where we can connect to the cosmic intelligence and we can innovate new solutions, solutions that are aligned with our soul's true values. We also have Neptune, which has been in Pisces since 2011, moving into Aries until 2039. Saturn is going to leave Pisces and move into Aries as well. Uranus is going to leave Taurus and enter Gemini and be in Gemini until 2033. Not only this, we also have Jupiter changing signs, leaving Gemini and moving into Cancer. All of these planetary changes are happening in 2025. Now, I have already done a separate video for you previewing Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries, so I encourage you to go watch that video. I have readings for all 12 signs, but what I most love about these planets moving into Aries is that Aries energy is new beginnings. It is the spark of inspiration. It is us getting sparked by new ideas, new possibilities, and following our heart's true calling, because Aries is about your heart's calling. And keep in mind that Neptune and Aries, that's a long-term transit. That is almost 15 years. And Uranus moving into Gemini, Uranus is in a sign for about 8 years. Uranus in Gemini is going to be an electric energy. Both Aries and Gemini like movement. So this is forward momentum for us in 2025. They want to move quickly, both Aries and Gemini. Aries doesn't want to think, Gemini thinks. However, both signs are eager for positive change and movement. And in fact, Gemini helps us facilitate change. That is part of its purpose. Pluto in Aquarius is also future focused, and Neptune and Saturn in Aries, Pluto in Aquarius, and Uranus in Gemini are all energies that harmonize with each other. Aries is fire, Aquarius is air, Gemini is air. So we're going to get trines and sextiles with these energies together, and that is super supportive. Now, it is true that when Neptune and Saturn move into Aries and Uranus moves into Gemini, it's going to be for a fairly brief time. It is not going to be permanent. It's going to be a transitional time. It won't be until 2026 that Saturn, Neptune, and Aries change into those signs for their full stint in that sign. However, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus will all be in their new signs in 2025 for long enough that we can begin to jumpstart a new chapter. For example, you might meet a new person in 2025, but you don't move in together or get married until 2026. Or you might release the weight or get healthier in the way that you've been really wanting to for a long time in 2025, but you don't buy a whole new wardrobe or build your walk-in closet for your whole new wardrobe until 2026. Maybe you get training or education for your new dream career in 2025, but you don't start making money doing it until 2026. You get the idea. 2025 is the year that we are getting pregnant, some of you literally, yes, or pregnant with our heart's desire, with our new creative child that is then going to be fully birthed in 2026. And I have to be honest, for a lot of us, the change could come quickly. It could be discombobulating. It could be stressful. It's going to play out differently for all of us, in large part due to how we approach the year. This is a year to approach with an adventurer's heart, to be willing to stay open for whatever you most want to come to you, and most important, the guidance to come to you as far as the steps that you want to take. To keep an open mind, because I think the year is going to move quite quickly, especially given that Aries and Gemini energies like to move quickly. We are moving into a new chapter. I know that I've been saying that. We are at the end of an era. We are going into a brand new era with Pluto and Aquarius, but now it is time to write the new chapter. So what comes to mind for me is, first of all, the song by Natasha Bedingfield called Unwritten. And this is exciting. It is unwritten. The ending is unplanned. There's a lot we don't know. But here's the thing, the power of decision, the power of deciding. I believe we are being called to decide what we most want and not take no for an answer. Decide that you deserve your heart's desire. Believe that the universe is supporting you. Choose to prioritize it. Because this deciding and believing and choosing, this is going to be a foundation for each of us for receiving the divine assistance. The divine can only meet us halfway if we are very, very clear and resolute that this is what we're creating. And if you can't see right now how this is going to happen for you, well, you're joining the club. I'm right there with you. There are some things I most want to, that my heart most wants, and I don't know how they're going to happen. But I do feel deep in my bones that they are my birthright, and I'm not going to take no for an answer. And I feel that this is powerful. We're moving into brand new territory. We've never been here before, but our intention is powerful. If we can feel the feelings of what we want and not base what we think is our future potential, not base our future potential on past challenges, but let ourselves clear that slate. Let ourselves imagine that, yes, we've been through a hard era, many of us. If we can put that in the past and focus our energy, keep our eye on the prize of what we know that we have a burning desire for. 2025 could be that year that you look back, my friend, and say, that was the year that something really wonderful happened for me. That is when my life truly shifted for the better. So let's do the 12 sign readings now, my friend. Listen to your rising sign. Your rising sign is the area of your chart corresponding to the area of your life in which Pluto has been transiting. And I'm going to also talk about where Mars in Cancer is opposing Pluto for the very last time, both during the Aries full moon and during the beginning of November when it makes it an exact opposition. And you can also listen to your sun sign for the themes that are relevant, have been relevant for this transit and continue to be until Pluto moves into Aquarius, and also your moon sign for further intuitive messages. So let's start with you, beautiful Capricorn, because Capricorn, of course, Pluto's been in your sign and it has been life-changing for many of you. And I've noticed in the comments in my most recent videos, some of you have had amazing things happen, positive things happen. A lot of you have had really challenging things happen. So I just want to acknowledge that it could have gone either way for you, and it still could go either way for you. But Pluto always detoxifies. Pluto always comes through as a destructive energy if there's something that we need to release, change, let go of. That always happens with Pluto. And it can be quite empowering and passionate and take us to the next level in our work or in a relationship or, you know, in creating a new home. There are lots of different ways that Pluto could be quite passionate, have been passionate and powerful for you as well, Capricorn. So you are, though, for sure, now going through the last 5.5 weeks of Pluto in Capricorn, which is a final closure of karmic relationships and soul lessons. It's a wrapping up. It's a graduation moment. And you are experiencing this in your first house of identity, roles, your vitality, your appearance, your look, how you see yourself and how you want others to see you. Many of you, I'm sure, have changed roles, maybe more than once, either professionally or personally or both during this transit. Capricorn, I hope that you are celebrating whether you've had amazing positive things happen for you during this time or whether you've had really difficult, bring you to your knees, challenging moments like I talk about in part 1 of this video. I encourage you to go back and watch that if you haven't already, because not only do I talk about the last activations of Pluto and Capricorn before it moves into Aquarius, but also I give you a preview of 2025 and I don't want you to miss that. So where Mars in Cancer is opposing Pluto and Capricorn in your first house, Mars in Cancer is transiting your 7th house and opposing it. And that's happening during the Aries full moon. And it's also happening at the beginning of November, which most of us will feel around November 1st to the 3rd, give or take a day or two on either side. And this means Mars in Cancer wants you to be fiercely protective and a strong advocate for yourself and your loved ones, for your home, for your inner home, for anything that brings you emotional security. That's what's going on here. So because it's your 7th house, the short description of this for you would be that Mars in your 7th house is giving you the mojo and the drive and the fierce honesty with self and the willingness, and maybe there's probably going to be frustration and anger coming up for a lot of you as well, but it's where you're willing to fight, hopefully in a very healthy way, you know, the constructive use of anger, where you're, and that's why I don't want to use the word fight, where you're willing to and ready to advocate for yourself in a relationship if necessary. Some of you will start going to counseling with a partner if you haven't already. 7th house is not just marriage partners or significant others. It's also business partners. It could be anyone in your life with whom you have a significant partnership. So some of you are either working on still or starting to work on a relationship, or you're cutting something out of your life, whether it is a bond with another person, if you feel like there are irreconcilable irreconcilable differences or anything toxic in your life. Like maybe you are with a partner who uses substances, or maybe you use substances that are unhealthy for you, and that is coming between you. It could be anything that comes up, any form of what we call codependence. Pluto brings up our tendencies to be dependent on another person in some way that isn't healthy for us. It could also be a boss. It could also be someone in authority in your life, or someone. It's always about power, Pluto. It's always about a power imbalance or a power struggle, or where we feel powerless in some way in the dynamic. This is what is coming up for us for the final couple of times before Pluto moves into Aquarius, November 20th, so that we can finish out and close out this cycle. So, fiercely advocating for yourself and your inner child, beautiful Capricorn. So let me pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say. For Capricorn. Capricorn, your card is the Dream Thief, the Refusal of the Call. I don't know who this card came up for last time, but it did come up for somebody else. And this card is very straightforward. This is a dream thief. This is a part of you that is not wanting to change, perhaps, or perhaps you relate this to some person that you're in relationship with that doesn't want to change. This is saying you are being called by your soul into a new soul essence, to express yourself in new ways. You're being called to release and let go of something. You're being called to say yes to a dream, beautiful Capricorn. And if there's a part of you that is not fully aligned with what your heart really wants, it is time to face your fears about that and let it go, because if it's true that a part of you is refusing the call of your soul, it's stealing your light. It's stealing your joy. It's stealing your potential for a brand new, fabulous year in 2025. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, beautiful Sagittarius. Sag, you are wrapping up karmic soul lessons, a relationship perhaps, or multiple relationships, or a way of being, or a way that you have treated yourself that hasn't been fully empowering and in your highest good. Where is this happening for you? Pluto has been transiting your second house of earned income, values, self-deserving, self-worth. This is where you have most likely had a transformation, where you have up-leveled your self-worth, where you have chosen to see yourself with new eyes so that you could earn more money. Many of you may have, and could be all the way back, we could go all the way back to 2008, depending on the degrees of the planets and points in your chart that have made connections with Pluto and Capricorn. But many of you with Pluto going through your second house, that has been a change in income, positive or downward. That has been you looking at the truth of your money story, perhaps. This has been a transit that has wanted to empower you to take back your power, to earn the amount of money that you want, to do the kind of work that you want to do, to create material security for yourself. So material security being your home, being the food that you eat, the things that are valuable to you in this earthly realm, the things that we touch and feel that make you feel more secure. Many of you have probably been on a self-love journey. You have maybe gone through a radical transformation of your values. We are wrapping up these soul lessons now, and you could have had changes in relationships that were transformational for you, that were connected to any of these things: income, self-love. Of course, all of our relationships are connected in some way to self-love, but also to our values, also your material possessions. Now, Sag, we are having two last activations of Pluto and Capricorn in challenging ways. One during the Aries full moon, which I have a separate video for you on, and the other one is early November when Mars will oppose Pluto. So where Mars is going to oppose Pluto for you is in your 8th house of transformation. Just adding more evidence to the fact that you've been going through a transformation. When Mars goes through your 8th house, that means you are forced to, if you're not choosing to, you're forced to go through some sort of change. You go through a death and rebirth. Mars cuts ties to anything unhealthy. The 8th house is relationships with business partners, relationships with clients, relationships with love partners. Anyone with whom you share time, money, or resources, which is a lot of our relationships, but it's also assets, material assets, it's retirement funds, it's any kind of investments, it's real estate. So many of you could feel driven right now to acquire assets, to redistribute assets, to review where you have made investments. Maybe you don't have a home, your own home, and you want to buy a home. Maybe you are going through some sort of Mars-Pluto challenge that has to do with either either with your earned income. Oh my gosh, that was a lot. That was a lot. Either with your own earned income or with money or resources that another person in your life is also in on, where you are sharing those resources. And this can be institutions too. It can be like where you have money invested. It could be loans that you've taken out. You could be saying, I want to pay off a loan. You could be saying, I want to pay off my house, for example, if you own a home, and you get the idea. It's also healing sexuality. It's healing anything that is on a very deep, unconscious level, because that's the 8th house. So, Sag, 5.5 more weeks of this deep diving transformation that is the very end of it. At least with Pluto and Capricorn. We will have new soul lessons with Pluto and Aquarius, but for Pluto and Capricorn, this is the end of those soul lessons. It's a graduation moment. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. Sagittarius, your card is the Joyful Muse. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. Inspiration, Sag. Get out your playthings, whether they are crayons, whether they are musical instruments, putting on the music and dancing to it. The Joyful Muse is calling to you. Play with your kitty or your pet. The Joyful Muse wants you to dance and sing and have fun and get reconnected with your heart. Notice how the violin is the green heart chakra color. An opening of your heart. There's a heart opening for you with this transit, and maybe you're celebrating that Pluto is leaving Capricorn. Maybe you're celebrating that we're going into 2025 with all these planets, 5 outer planets changing signs. If you didn't watch the first part of this video, go back and watch it, because I talk about what we have to look forward to and how we can best work with that energy. So beautiful Sag, the Joyful Muse, it's time to play. It's time to have fun. Inspiration is calling to you. And if you want to claim your inspiration, let us know in the comments below. Beautiful Scorpio. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. You are wrapping up a karmic soul cycle of Pluto in Capricorn in your 3rd house. And your 3rd house is mindset and communication. It's your everyday local dealings with other people. For some of you, if you're freelancers, if you have your own business, all of the transactions that you do within your business would fall in the 3rd house as well. And also siblings, neighbors, aunts, uncles, and cousins. It can also be other extended family. This is where Pluto has been shaking something up, has been doing its sort of roto-rooter thing in your 3rd house, in your local environment, showing you what's healthy for you, what isn't healthy for you, the places that you frequent that are good for you, and the ones that aren't, and so on. And for a lot of you, I'm guessing Pluto in the 3rd house has really shown you who has your back in your local world, in your neighborhood, with siblings especially, or other, cousins and so forth. We're finishing this up, 5.5 more weeks of this. We're having 2 more activations. I speak about this at length in the beginning of the video, the first half. Go back and watch that if you want to get my guidance on how to best work with the energies. But we're going to have Mars making this opposition to Pluto, both during the Aries full moon and during the first part of the first few days of November. And this is where you'll be experiencing Mars kind of doing this sort of balancing act with Pluto, or maybe pushing against Pluto, or it's going to be pushing, the energies are going to, it's going to feel like pressure, I think, to a lot of us. Where this is happening for you, Mars is transiting your 9th house, and your 9th house is the house of expansion. So your soul really wants to expand, Scorpio, and you could be feeling this desire for expansion, because Mars is desire. Mars in Cancer is protective, it's emotional, it's water energy, it is protective of your own inner child, it's protective of your innermost feelings, it's protective of your loved ones as well, children, and so forth. So where you could be feeling this is if you have been in some sort of educational program, or maybe you want to start an educational program, some sort of training. Maybe it's a new endeavor that's going to expand your career or take you into a new career. This has to do with long distance travel. Some of you could be closing out a religion that you have felt was oppressive for you. You could be like leaving it behind. Some of you could be publishing something that you're passionate about, because Pluto is also passion. You could be feeling pressured to get something out into the world, whether it's a course or a video or a book, or anything, any work of art that you're publishing. And then others of you could be just going through a change in your philosophy. You could be changing a belief. You could be releasing a belief. This is the house of spiritual awakening and expansion, and it's where we often grow and expand through new knowledge, new information, through hearing things, YouTube videos, and reading books, and so on. We can have a real expansion that way. Transmissions that people give, and I hope that you will watch the transmission that I offer in the first half of this video, because I'm really looking forward to 2025, and it's going to be kind of a wild year, I think, with so many planets changing signs, but I preview that for you in part 1 of this video, so I don't want you to miss that. And it's helping us, I feel, at least it helps me to know that these really positive, potentially positive, I give you tips for working with the energy, but it really helps me to know that we have this coming as we go through this challenging time right now. Now, it's true, Scorpio, that Pluto in Capricorn has made a sextile to your energy. So for your Scorpio energy, it's probably been quite beneficial and passionate for a lot of you. But if you have planets or points in the cardinal signs, you may have felt it. It may have been a challenge for you. And if you have planets or points in the high degrees of the cardinal signs, then you would be feeling the challenge of it during these last several weeks of Pluto and Capricorn. So let's see, Scorpio, what the cards have to say for you. The last 2 passes of Pluto and Capricorn, the last dance with Mars, let's say that. Stranger Curiosity. Wow, what an interesting card. Check it out, Scorpio. So when I look at this card, I see this ethereal being, and it's saying that there's a part of you that you have not recognized before. And it's saying, be curious, because this blue energy is very throat chakra to me. It's very, it actually reminds me of Pluto and Aquarius. And then all of this dynamic light, I'm getting the vibe of the magician, of the alchemist, and I'm getting the vibe of there's a part of you that you haven't fully recognized yet. Maybe you haven't fully owned it. Maybe it's part of your shadow. Our shadow can be our light and our so-called dark. Our shadow can be parts of us that are fiercely expressive that we haven't given permission yet to express. So to me, this card is saying there's a part of you that may feel like a stranger that is knocking on your door, that may be rising up for you to see and acknowledge and integrate within yourself during this transit. And be curious, and welcome the energies that may approach you now at the very last moments of Pluto and Capricorn, because they are gold for you. They're going to be freeing and liberating for you, beautiful Scorpio, freeing and liberating for your expression and your potential, and you are coming into more wholeness by welcoming this new energy into yourself and into your life. If this resonates for you, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Libra, beautiful Libra. Okay, Libra. Libra, you are one of the ones who has really felt Pluto in Capricorn as it has made a square to your energy, and that hasn't been easy, I'm sure. You are wrapping up a karmic soul cycle. You are wrapping up the soul lessons that you were meant to move through during the 15 years of Pluto in Capricorn. And this has been happening for you, as well as soul contracts that may be coming to a close for you or have already. This is happening for you and has been happening for you for the last 14 years in your 4th house of home, family, and childhood conditioning, the house of your roots. This transit of Pluto and Capricorn has wanted to help you to feel more rooted within yourself. Some of you may have done ancestral healing. Some of you may have changed your family environment. Some of you may have cut ties to family members. Some of you may have be living with a whole new group of people, or maybe you're living alone now, or maybe you've separated or you've divorced. I mean, the 4th house is our deep inner self. And I wouldn't be surprised, Libra, if you've had a lot of shifts in family relationships since 2008. Now, the last 2 activations of Pluto and Capricorn are happening, as I speak about at length in part 1 of this video, during the Aries full moon and also the first part of November. And they are going to be specifically Mars opposing Pluto. Mars is asking you to be fiercely honest with yourself, Libra. Mars is helping you to cut ties to anything that is not healthy for you in your life that has to do with family, home. It could have to do with career as well. It is actually happening in your 10th house of career. This is also our legacy. It's retirement for some of you, or semi-retirement. It is where we express our life purpose. This is where Mars is really giving you a drive and a mojo and the power right now, the courage to advocate for yourself. Could have to do with career, could have to do with home and family, whatever it is. It's saying, have your own back, have your own back, take care of your inner child, be in your integrity, and notice what is true for you now and act on it. That is what this transit is saying, the last 5.5 weeks of Pluto in Capricorn for the rest of our lifetimes, beautiful Libra. So let me shuffle for you now. Oh, a card flipped over. So this is your card, and the card is the Lost Compass, getting back to integrity. And I just mentioned the word integrity. You know what I love about this card is this compass to me is your true north. This compass is your life purpose expressed, and that is the 10th house. That is where Mars is. And it is beaming with light. It is beaming with light. And this is saying that if you have lost your way in career, if you have lost your way in relationship, if you have lost your way in your home and family, it is time to get back into integrity. If you are overgiving, Libra, if you are making the peace just to keep the peace, if you are, we have had the South Node in Libra, and, we just had the solar eclipse in Libra. You know this energy well. It wants you to stay true to you. True to you, beautiful Libra. So this is, and look at all the light in this card that's activated, and the gold that's activated when you stay true to you, Libra. When you stay true to you, you are rewarded. So for those of you who feel like you need to get back into your own integrity, which to me just means aligning your actions with what you know is true, with your own heart, no longer compromising in a way that takes you out of integrity. I could give you so many examples from my own life. If you want to read my book, The Magic of Saying Yes, I give lots of examples of the hard decisions that I made and the stories behind them, the decisions I made when I was going through hard Pluto transits. We don't have time for me to go through them now, but I just want you to know that any hard decision that you have to make that's in alignment with your heart, beautiful Libra, your soul is calling you back into the strength and the wisdom of your own integrity. Virgo, hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo, you are having a karmic soul lesson wrap up in your 5th house of children, creativity, true love, and romance, the house of fun and pleasure, the house of passion, a lot of times passionate romance. Your soul is ending something here or has ended. Maybe it's already happened, Virgo, but you have been quite activated with Pluto moving through your house of all of those things that I just mentioned. It activates our creativity. It can be incredible, passionate, imaginative kinds of creations. You could have a child, or maybe you already did have a child during your Pluto transit here. You could have fallen in love or be falling in love. You could be going through a very difficult, complicated relationship that we call it's complicated, right? And that's not easy, I know. But there is a call to wrap it up if it's not healthy for you, if in some way it's been toxic for you. Now, some of you will choose to go to counseling with that person if that's relevant for you. Others of you could have had very difficult things go on with children or with adult children. You could have had to have stepped back if a child, an adult child, for example, is using substances that are unhealthy for them. You could have gone through that. That would be very challenging. Right now, we have, or at least during the Aries full moon on October 17th, there's going to be an activation of Mars opposing Pluto. And then that's going to happen again exactly the first few days of November. That is happening for you. Mars in Cancer is happening for you in your 11th house. So you're gonna have Mars in Cancer in your 11th house, Pluto and Capricorn in your 5th house, and they are opposing each other. That's where you may feel some pressure, some intensity to act on your own behalf in 11th house matters. What are they? That is your friendships. That's alliances. That's social media platforms. That's where you're putting your work out into the world. That's branding and marketing. Something in a friendship or in a community that has been supportive to you or maybe hasn't been is going to come to your attention. Or you could just feel to detox from your life if that's necessary. You're being asked to be a fierce advocate for yourself, to be radically honest with yourself about what is going on in this 11th house, friendship, alliances, community, also causes you could be involved in. This is where we go to networking meetings and meetup groups and so forth. Something could be changing for you there. You could feel really ignited right now with this Mars opposing Pluto. You could feel really ignited to put something out into the world. That you could be feeling the passion of that. You could be feeling some sort of pushback from someone in your 5th house area, like a child or a lover or so forth. But these are the energies that you're balancing, that you're navigating, where you're deciding to take action, Virgo. And how do you know if it's the right action? You're going to know. You're going to know. It's going to be where you feel fired up. It's going to be where you feel like there's a truth that's Pluto's showing you that you can't ignore, or where you just feel a lot of passion and drive and you're ready to work on that. Some of you will cut ties to a relationship or a group or a community. That will happen for some of you, or a social media platform. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Virgo. Virgo, your card is the Unmarked Trail Revelation. Virgo, look at all the green. This card reminds me of your energy so much. The rock formation. This card is really, really beautiful to me. This is a heart healing for some of you. You are going on an unmarked trail, or you've already gone on one. You are someone who is allowing yourself to follow the road less traveled. And you're getting a revelation about your trail. You're getting it. This feels to me intuitively like a boost of a revelation that shows you, yes, you've been on the right path. Yes, you have done the right thing. Yes, it's safe. It's also saying to me, it's safe to follow your heart. It's safe to go your own way. It's safe to be a pioneer. Beautiful Virgo. Follow the unmarked trail, because by doing so, you're going to experience more joy, more pleasure, more passion than you would by following, and you're not going to be bored like you would, or you're not going to be unstimulated, or you're not going to be regretful when you look back on your past for not following your authentic, true compass. You will be rewarded, beautiful Virgo. Leo, hello, beautiful Leo. Leo, you are having a karmic soul lesson wrap up, a completion of soul contracts, a final letting go of anything that has not been good for you in your life. And this is happening for you and has been happening ever since Pluto went into Capricorn in your 6th house of health, your daily work, and also your habits. So your schedules and routines and so on. We often feel 6th house transits having to do with work. And so many of you, I'm guessing, found yourselves in work situations that were toxic in some way, or the substances or a substance or a habit or routine that you had, you found was toxic to you, and now you're changing it. For some reason, diabetic is coming in, but it could be any kind of health situation. Some of you have probably moved through some really difficult health kinds of diagnoses. I'm sorry if that's true. I know that's really challenging, but you are coming to the end of it, and a lot of you are going to, if you haven't already, very possibly will receive a revelation during the October 17th Aries full moon that is going to really give you an answer that you didn't have before. You are going to have Mars transiting opposite Pluto in your 12th house. I talk about the dates for this in the first part of this video, so go back and listen for that. But basically, it's the Aries full moon in the first few days of November when we're going to feel quite activated by Mars opposing Pluto, which is the final cuts, the final cleansing, the final shedding of the skin, releasing anything that hasn't been healthy for us. And in the 12th house, where Mars is going to be, that is being fiercely honest with ourselves about the inner dialogue, our inner narrative, reprogramming our subconscious mind, paying attention to what our inner child needs, and deciding to really go the distance to take care of that part of us. Changing our mindsets, rewriting our story. And the 12th house is also often past life connections or past life karma, past life challenges that we've endured and that our souls wanted to change, shift, and heal in this lifetime. So that could be have been part of your Pluto journey, Pluto and Capricorn journey, but you may feel that even more intensely during this last 5.5 weeks of Pluto in Capricorn. So being a fierce advocate for yourself, beautiful Leo, and really paying attention to any changes, like final changes. You probably already made a lot, or the ones that you really needed to make. A lot of you have already done that. But if you haven't, Mars is coming along and saying, okay, now is the time. Any changes that will benefit your daily work, your habits, your schedules, just feeling overall in your optimal health. Okay, let's see what the cards have to say. And working with people that support you, working for people if you have a supervisor that supports you as well. Very, very important. And your card is the Magician's Sword, confidence in your magic. Okay, so this card is saying, number one, use your Magician's Sword to cut away anything that isn't serving you. Number two, you can turn dross into gold. You are the magician of your life. You can make magic happen. Tune into the signs and synchronicities. The magician is not afraid to use the sword if necessary, but I love the message of confidence in your own magic. You have magic, Leo, meaning you have the ability to co-create your life on your terms. So know this, believe in yourself, know that you can co-create with the universe in magical, alchemical ways. And if you want to claim your own magic, claim it in the comments below. Let us know. Cancer, hello, beautiful Cancer. Cancer, I have my moon and my rising in Cancer. And those of you who are Cancer risings, we have been experiencing Pluto in Capricorn since 2008 in our 7th house of partnerships, and it's been quite a wild ride, right, Cancers? We are having a karmic soul lesson wrap up here. Relationships, most particularly, and of course, this is every area of our life, any relationships that have been meaningful to us, whether they are significant others, they can be, I mean, for me, I find my adult children in this category, even though technically children are in the 5th house. I also have experienced friendships and relationships with coworkers, the ones where I've really felt Pluto working, and of course, romantic partners as well. I felt in this 7th house Pluto arena. So it could be any relationship, including business partnerships and clients as well. This is where you are wrapping up those karmic soul lessons. Congratulations. And it is also where you're going to be experiencing a Mars opposition. So during the Aries full moon, the first few days of November, Mars is transiting Cancer in your sign in your 1st house. Mars in the 1st house opposing Pluto is saying, be your own fierce advocate. Take care of yourself. I give you some of my own experiences of this and what I've been experiencing over this last week in the first part of this video, if you want to go back and watch that if you haven't already. But this is about us taking care of our own inner child. This is about us taking care of loved ones, if that's how it's coming up for you. Taking care of your health, really prioritizing your health. I almost didn't do this video because of that, but I was feeling much better, and so here I am. But we really have to balance, Cancer, our responsibilities to others and our responsibility to ourselves. And if you're in doubt at all right now, the energies are really saying, take care of you. And that's not easy for Cancers because we usually put others first and we take our responsibilities very seriously, right, Cancer? So your marching orders are to cut ties to any situation, thing, person, anything not good for your health and so on that is, is dragging you down or draining your energy in any way, and to be fiercely honest with yourself about whatever that might be. Anything that diminishes your power, this is where we are meant to take our sword and cut those ties. Easier said than done, I know, Cancer. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. Cancer, your card is Root Girl, the disowned self. This is so perfect. Okay, so Root Girl is the part of us. I love this. I love the name Root Girl. Root Girl is that very sweet, tender, inner child part of you that you may have disowned. The part of you that maybe you don't want other people to see. The part of you that is has been put in the shadows. She could have lots of beautiful talents and gifts and skills that you're not even aware of, a part of you. It could be the part of you that you feel like is ugly in some way or isn't up to par in some way. You are being called on to bring her into your awareness and to love her with fierceness, to care for her tenderly, to let her know that you are here for her. You will never, ever leave her. And I've done this exercise myself with my own Root Girl. I gave her a bath. I asked her if she wanted to put on a pretty dress. I gave her some new shoes. Like, you can do all of that in your imagination. Ask your own inner Root Girl what she wants, what she needs. Take care of her, and you will begin to see a transformational change. Beautiful Cancer. Gemini, hello, beautiful Gemini. Gemini, you are experiencing Pluto and Capricorn in your 8th house. Your 8th house of shared resources with partners, death and rebirth, transformation, a shift in healing of your sexuality, perhaps. This is the house of taboos. This is the house of power struggles. This is the house of where we experience our own power or powerlessness with other people, professionally and personally. This is where you are doing a karmic wrap up because, of course, Pluto has been transiting your 8th house for some time now, and you could have felt this in your money or your partnerships or both, because it's also the house of money from others, where we share time, money, resources, and intimacy, emotional and physical, with other people. So there's a graduation here, a karmic wrap up soul lessons, relationships, soul contracts that you have completed, Gemini. Now, where Mars is making an opposition to Pluto during the Aries full moon and the first few days of November, an exact opposition is in your second house of earned income, self-worth, and values. This means with Mars transiting your second house and sort of pushing against Pluto, or where they're being balanced, or there's a call for balancing, Gemini, you could really feel Mars in your second house. Mars in your second house is like, I need to make change here in my house of money, earned income. I need to, maybe you want to get a side gig. Maybe you want to ask for a promotion. There's a strong motivation and drive with Mars here to protect your own interests, to take care of yourself, to advocate for yourself. This would be a good time, actually, if you feel like the thing with Pluto in the eighth house, you could feel like someone is opposing you. So it may not be the best time to ask for a raise, but it is a really good time to process any fears that you have about meeting your own needs, because second house is material security, and it's the things that you feel you need to feel secure and safe in a very earthly way. So this is a good time to definitely process any fears about advocating for yourself, and also a good time to review any investments or nest egg if you've started that, if you're anything where you are assets. So some of you may be reviewing, do I want to sell an asset? Do I want to sell my home? Do I want to buy a new home? Any of those things. Do I want to invest in this or that? That could all be coming up for you during this time as well. The main thing to remember is that it's time to advocate for yourself, to be fiercely honest with yourself, and to protect your interests when it comes to money and partnerships, and your own partnership with yourself, and your own story about money with yourself, self-worth and deserving. Okay, gems, let's see. And I have my sun in Gemini, by the way, my natal sun in Gemini. Okay, here, let's pull a card for you. Gemini, your card is Mindful Groupthink. Okay, this card is about being mindful of staying true to yourself and going your own way. As you can see, there's a lot going on in this card, and there are lights blinking everywhere. This is the card of like overstimulation or too much input from other people. Following your own heart rather than following the group think. You could feel pressure to go a certain way based on what a partner's saying, based on what co-workers, how other people are advising you, for example. But if you'll notice, there is a tree here, and this tree does have these solid trunks. And this is saying root yourself down, pull up the energy from the tree, pull up the guidance from Mother Earth, pull down the guidance from the divine, and get clear for yourself. Because when you are mindful and not full of mind chatter, and this is really important for Geminis because we are ruled by Mercury, and we do have a full mind so often. This is saying empty your mind, be mindful of the different people that are and resources and situations that are giving you input. Clear all of that, clear it all, and get clear on what's true in your heart for you, beautiful Gemini, and everything else will flow from there. Taurus, hello, beautiful Taurus. Taurus, you are going to experience a karmic soul lesson, wrap up, completion, graduation, expired soul contracts coming to a close, or you taking your own new soul essence, your own expression to the next level of expansion. This is happening in your house of expansion. This is where Pluto has been transiting, and Pluto in Capricorn has made a trine to your energy. So actually, this transit of Pluto in Capricorn could have been really good for you, Taurus, especially if you don't have planets or points in the cardinal signs where you've experienced the more challenging Pluto and Capricorn energy. You could have really had a powerful, passionate, powerful expansion during this transit. Leave me a comment. Let me know if that's true for you. But a lot of us have planets and points in a lot of different signs, so I get that. Regardless, Pluto transits, whether they are trines or sextiles or the more hard and challenging Pluto transits, they do show us the truth. They do show us the truth. I believe that for your Taurus energy, at least, it has been easier to detoxify anything. For example, if you have been raised in a religion that became oppressive to you, if you had a philosophy that wasn't appropriate for you and you let that go, if you had a guru or a teacher, a spiritual teacher, for example, or any teacher really, anyone that you looked up to, it could have been a boss that you looked up to, an author that you looked up to, they could have quote unquote fallen from grace for you. You could have completed an educational program and moved on for that and feel like this is not part of my belief system anymore. You could have let go of beliefs that were part of your conditioning. This is, again, Pluto can be passion and power. It's always power. It can come, we can be pulled forward by a vision or we can be pushed by pain. But because Capricorn energy trines your energy, I feel that a lot of you probably have had quite a passionate journey. And that could have come through traveling to foreign lands as well. Now, we are going to have an opposition of Mars opposing Pluto. And for you, Mars in Cancer, which makes a sextile to your energy. So that's quite lovely. Mars in Cancer, however, is going to oppose Pluto in Capricorn in your third house of mindset and communication. For some of you, you're going to feel like I have to set things straight in my third house, local environment kind of arena. This could be if you have your own business, if you're a freelancer, how you interact with people in your daily life, your errands and where you work out and where you get groceries, all those things, where you have meetup groups, anything where you are interacting with others in your local area. You could also have some sort of interaction with a sibling, an aunt, uncle, or cousin, a neighbor, a landlord, a mortgage broker, where it feels very passionate or it feels like there's a truth being revealed. Something is coming to light that you didn't see before. That could happen for you as well during this Mars-Pluto opposition, which I speak about at length in the first part of this video. So if you're curious about that and how you can best work with the energy, go back and watch that. I also give you a preview of the 2025 astrology, which is going to be extremely dynamic with 5 outer planets changing signs. So be a fierce advocate for yourself. Allow the inspiration to move you forward in powerful ways, and be willing to take a risk, beautiful Taurus, because the time is ripe. And I also want to say that Mars transiting your third house, you could be working on a new website, you could be redoing a website, you could be doing a writing project, a new learning project, creating a course, creating something that, a blog, for example, or something where you're putting your message out into the world, because the third house is your house of messages, shared messages with others as well. So now let us pull a card for you. And Mars transiting there could really give you the energy to get a lot done in a short period of time, Taurus. So it could be very productive for you. So let me see what the cards have for you. Taurus. Your card is Repairing the Veil, Forgiveness. This card has been coming up in all of the readings and all of the videos. And this card is basically saying that the veil, how do I say this? Okay, let's talk Akashic records, for example. Your soul's intentions, which is in the Akashic records, what you wanted to experience, what you wanted to learn, how you wanted to grow as a soul while you are here in a human body. There is something that is being repaired for you. There is something that is being healed for you around this time, beautiful Taurus. And all you have to do is forgive. Forgive your past. Forgive yourself. Forgive anyone else that has hurt you or harmed you in any way. Release regrets. Release anything where you've been too hard on yourself, because this is a magical time for you. You see the magic in this card. You see the golden light. You see the pink ribbon. You see that there is almost like a totem that's being resurrected for you on the ethereal planes for how far you've come, for how much you've accomplished. And all you have to do is forgive the past, so that you can move powerfully forward as you continue to build your gorgeous life in 2025. Beautiful Taurus. Aries, hello, beautiful Aries. Aries, you are experiencing a karmic wrap-up, Yahoo, of soul lessons, relationship contracts that were meant to be short-lived for you to clean up any karma, for you to heal any past life situations or childhood conditioning. Not all of your relationships by any means are wrapping up, Aries, but the ones that are, the ones that you're graduating from, the ones that you're no longer in vibrational alignment with, this is what's happening for you. And for you, because Pluto's been transiting your 10th house of career, legacy, and retirement, semi-retirement, your house of it's your life purpose expressed. It's the house of vocation. It's the house of passion, vocation, passion. This is where anything that you've been healing is coming to a close. So that is really beautiful. Now, Aries, it hasn't been easy for any of the cardinal signs since 2008. Most of them anyway. I know I've gotten some comments recently from some Capricorns that have said, it's been great for me and I'm really going to miss Pluto in Capricorn. So I don't want to make generalizations, but you've had a square to your energy from Pluto and Capricorn, and that can be very, very challenging. So Aries, where you may feel the last gasp, so to speak, of Pluto and Capricorn, the last two challenging activations are happening, one during your full moon, Aries, and I would be very surprised if you don't feel this. Most people that are going to feel it are going to be, I said in my Aries full moon video, which you can go watch if you haven't already. I encourage that, of course. It's happening at 24 degrees, the Aries full moon. So if you have planets or points between 19 and 29 degrees of any of the cardinal signs, including your own sign, you will most likely very strongly feel the Aries full moon. Now, Mars in Cancer is T-squaring the full moon, and it's opposing Pluto in your 4th house. Mars is going to be transiting your 4th house is what I'm saying. Pluto's transiting your 10th house. Mars in Cancer is transiting your 4th house of home, family, childhood conditioning, your house of roots, where you want a sense of belonging, Aries. This is, in a nutshell, inner child healing. This is any shadow work that is left for you to do, ancestral healing for some of you, healing the mother line for some of you. It could be healing the father line. Any place where there is a sense of scarcity or lack, or where you haven't felt secure. Some of you during this transit of Pluto and Capricorn, you could have lost a home, you could have lost a parent, you could have lost somebody very close to you. And I'm really sorry if that's happened for you. I know how challenging that is, to say the least. But during these last few weeks of Pluto and Capricorn, I think you could feel them quite healing. And Mars here, I have to say, when Mars transits the 4th house, sometimes there is conflict around home family stuff. Sometimes there are power struggles. It can be really difficult. Or it can just be that you have a new sense of inspiration, that you have a new desire, that you want to change your home up in some way. You are redecorating, you're rebuilding, maybe you're building a home, maybe you're moving. Mars transiting the 4th house often indicates a move. So let us pull a card for you, Aries, and see what the cards have to say. And if you haven't watched the first part of this video, I do a preview. Not only do I talk about these energies in more depth and how to work with them, I also preview 2025, which could be one of the best years of our lives with all the changes that are happening. If you're ready to go through a rebirthing process, because Pluto always brings death and rebirth, if you're ready for the rebirth experience and you haven't had it yet, Aries, you may very well experience it next year when Neptune and Saturn move into your sign, which I also have a separate video for you on already. And I will link to that in the description box below if I remember to do so as well. Okay, Aries, let's see what the cards have for you. Aries, your additional message is the Sky Bridge, the possibility for union. Wow, wow, wow. This is saying that you are walking into the light. You are going through a portal, and you very well may meet up with a new soul friend, soul lover, soul mate. It will be a soul mate, whether it is a friend or a significant other romantically, or whether it is a business partner, whatever it is. Some of you, it could be the birth of a child. It could be a soul that's coming to enter your family. So a lot of different ways this could show up, but there's a possibility for soul union with you, or for you to unite with your own higher self, your own soul, in ways that you've never at a depth in which you've never experienced it before. So beautiful Aries, if you want to claim this beautiful union coming into the light, I love it so much. Let us know in the comments below. Pisces, hello, beautiful Pisces. Pisces, you are experiencing the final wrap up of Pluto in Capricorn, releasing toxicity from your life, releasing anything unhealthy, letting go of any place where you could be out of alignment. And this has been happening for you and will finish up in your 11th house of friends, friendships, alliances, hopes, wishes, and dreams, long-term financial gains. This is the house of the dream of your life. I bet a lot of you have had big changes in friendships. I bet a lot of you have had a real turnover in close people in your life, and that's probably been quite challenging. Some of you have probably come and go from communities, come and gone. You've left perhaps a regular community or church, for example, that you used to go to. Church, we could say that for a lot of things, right? Metaphorically speaking. I bet that a lot of you have found groups online. This is the house of tribe. So Pluto can be passion as much as it can be clearing up and releasing. So you could have found groups, friends, alliances that have been very helpful for you. You could have made a lot of gains financially, and you could have a brand new dream now, or have gone after a dream during this Pluto and Capricorn transit that you didn't have before Pluto entered your 11th house. Now, where Mars is opposing Pluto, Mars is in the opposite sign of your 11th house. In Capricorn, Mars is in Cancer. Mars is transiting Cancer and will make an opposition to Pluto both during the Aries full moon and also during the first few days of November, and that's happening for you in your 5th house. So Mars in Cancer in your 5th house has to do with children, your own children, or children you come into contact with. It has to do with your own inner child delight, paying attention to what your inner child most wants. It has to do with your creativity, Pisces. It has to do, and you guys are so creative. Guys and gals, you're so creative. Love and romance. This is the house of adventure and freedom and passion. So Pisces, with Mars here, you are feeling driven, I bet. You are being asked to be fiercely honest with yourself here about what your needs are, but also to advocate, stand up for yourself, go after what you want in creativity, love, romance, or having to do with the children in your life. Mars here for some of you, if you want to have children and you don't have children yet, could have you really taking action, let's say, to have children, to get pregnant if you want to. But Pluto opposite this house is saying that anything that's in your external world, in your friendships, in your associations that has a tinge even of dishonesty or deception or unhealthy, anything unhealthy about it, Mars pushing against that, Pluto is going to show you that. It's going to show you the truth, and it's going to show you where action is necessary to take, or where you're taking action because it's passionate for you, because Pluto's igniting your passion. That can be just as possible. And especially Pisces, because with your Pisces energy, Pluto's been making a sextile to your Pisces energy. Well, since 2008, depends on your planets and points and their degrees when that actually happened. But that is very supportive energy. So let me pull a card for you and see what your further intuitive message is, Pisces. And it is the authentic self. You are being guided to shed a skin, to shed a layer. It says many masks. We all come into this lifetime with a mask. We all come into this lifetime with childhood conditioning. Even if you had the most quote unquote perfect childhood, we all as children, the vast majority of us, most of us on a spiritual path, we have had some sort of conditioning, whether through parents, whether through teachers, whether through society, that has caused us to wear some sort of a mask, if not many masks. This card is saying you are shedding another layer of who you came here to be so that you can be even more authentic, so that you can claim the truth of your heart and follow it even more to greater success. Beautiful Pisces, if this card resonates, let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Aquarius, Aquarius, Aquarius. We are so close to Pluto moving into your sign for good. This is a wow, but we have 5.5 more weeks of Pluto in Capricorn, and where you have been going through karmic soul lessons, where you have been wrapping up soul contracts that were only meant to be in your life for a short while. This has been happening for you in your 12th house. The 12th house is your inner world. It's the ethereal realms. It is your relationship with the divine. So you may have had quite a transformation since 2008 with Pluto here in Capricorn, real deepening of your own relationship with the divine. You have probably had hidden gifts and talents emerge. You have probably seen where you had self-doubt, because the 12th house is self-doubt. It's also where we can do self-sabotaging things, where we can hide from our talents or hide our talents from others, where we can retreat and not bring out what we most want to share with others because we are low in confidence, for example. But this Pluto transit has wanted you to discover your mystical self, the mystic within you, beautiful Aquarius. It has wanted to help you rewrite your inner narrative if that was important. It has wanted to show you your ability to co-create with the universe, and has wanted to show you that the universe truly has your back. Some of you may have done some subconscious reprogramming during this transit. And now we've got Mars making an opposition to Pluto during the Aries full moon, and again, an exact opposition the very first days of November, November 1st through 3rd, give or take a day or two on either side of that time. What does this mean for you? Mars is transiting your 6th house of health, your 6th house of daily habits, your 6th house of what you put into your body, how you move your body or don't move your body. This is basically anything. Mars here opposing Pluto is saying if there's anything toxic in either your thinking or your belief system or your subconscious mind, 12th house, anything toxic there, or in how you do your life, daily work, habits, health, it's going to show that to you. It's going to reveal that to you. It's going to reveal a truth. And the action that you are meant to take with Mars transiting your 6th house is doing whatever is going to bring you back into alignment with your soul at work, in your daily life, in your habits. Again, often this has to do with how we eat or anything toxic, any environments that we're in, often a work environment that may feel toxic to you. If you've had physical pain, but you've ignored it, if you haven't stretched for a long time and your body is experiencing discomfort or pain because of that, you could get some sort of a flare up. I'm sorry to say, I hope that doesn't happen to you, but your body could really be talking to you during this transit. Or if you're in a toxic work situation, with a coworker or with a boss or the head of a company, or so, it could be anything in your work life. that may really come to a head during this transit as well. All in the name of putting you back into alignment with your soul's integrity. Mars in Cancer is saying, be your own fierce advocate. You may get an inspired desire. If work isn't good for you, you may get some inspired spark of energy and action to apply for new jobs, for example, or to leave a job. A lot of you could leave a job during this time, actually. Or you could just decide that you're going to do your life in a different way. A lot of different ways this could play out, but the whole goal is optimal health for you, inside and out. Beautiful Aquarius. So I've been shuffling. Let's see what the cards have for you. Aquarius, your card is, ooh, covenant, sacred contract. Okay, so a couple of things that come to mind. One is you're closing out a sacred contract, some of you, or you already have. This is an acknowledgement of that. Another way this could be coming about is that you are being drawn toward a new sacred contract. This could be a new job. This could be a contract with yourself to eat differently, or to exercise differently, or to do something that's positive for your mental or emotional health. This could be a contract with your own soul. After all, Pluto's been transiting in your 12th house. That's the hidden realms. That is your divine light. So you could be entering a deepening with your own soul. But I feel for a lot of you, this is a call to follow your heart so that you can meet the new person, the next person that's waiting for you, whether it's romantic or it's in work or it's a friend. It doesn't matter. There is a new sacred contract that's being offered to you, I feel, if you follow your heart. And quick example, you may be called to leave your job so that you can start your own business or work for a new company, and that's where you'll meet this new person. Or maybe you're being called to work out at a new gym or start yoga or do something else where you're going to meet your new sacred contract soulmate, friend, or significant other. Beautiful Aquarius, if you want to claim this opening up of a covenant, an agreement, a sacred contract within yourself or with another, let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. My beautiful friend, I am so glad that you joined us for this video on the last passes of Pluto and Capricorn and a preview of the 2025 astrology, which to me is very, very exciting. 5 planets changing signs. Thank you for giving this video a like, a thumbs up, for commenting on the video. Thank you for sharing this video to others in your life who love astrology. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. When you subscribe, you send a message to the algorithm that then puts this video out into suggested videos and allows it to reach more people. If you're with us in the Sunday chat, I'm so glad that you joined us. Whenever you're watching this video, I am super grateful for you. Go to my website, check out my astrology consultations. I offer natal chart readings, life purpose, heart's desire, synastry, relationship harmony readings. And in all of the readings, it is always my goal to empower you through your natal chart, through what jumps out at me about your gifts and talents, your life purpose, and how the current transits are activating you now. When will the challenging transits end? And how you can work through them with the most ease and grace. So go to my website, check out the testimonials that other clients have shared after their readings, and I look forward to meeting you on Zoom. I have a free gift for you, and that free gift is a soothing guided meditation. You can get an instant download of this meditation that will connect you to your unconditionally loving spiritual guides by going to my website, subscribing for free to my weekly inspirational astrology updates, and you will at the same time receive that instant download meditation. So my beautiful friend, let me know how you're feeling about this last pass of Pluto and Capricorn, about the new big changes that are happening in 2025 that I preview in the first half of this video. And until my next video, I am sending you all my love.